What's going on, y'all? This is Alexander, and you are plugged in to the Nerd Companion. So pepperoni is your choice of topping on a pizza.
Yeah.
Why pepperoni?
Why pepperoni? I think it's flavor profile. It's a meat.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the meat being. I support that. I love pepperoni too.
But I'm a bit of a foodie, so it has to be from the right place. No, it actually doesn't have to be from the right place. It can be from anywhere. The spectrum of pizza I'll eat is very wide.
Very wide, but that's the only wide spectrum you have for food.
Yeah. But
I'm a beef. I like beef. I feel like beef is probably the strongest topping in my opinion, and I only say that because it's more versatile. You can put beef on anything. I feel like you can't put pepperoni on everything.
That's true.
Like, I feel like you can take, like, if you looked at a Supreme pizza, you could take the pepperoni off and still be good. But you can't take the beef off. I feel like the beef is good.
No.
You can't take the bell pepper off of the Supreme pizza. It's not the same.
I actually get green peppers on my pizza a lot.
Yeah. No, I do too. I usually get some sort of like white sauce pizza with chicken, bacon,
White sauce.
yeah, like Alfredo sauce or like a butter sauce or anything white, not red, like not a tomato base.
Why
And
is
do
that?
like, I don't know. So I have one pizza I always go to, and it's the same. So I call it my white pizza. It's not because of my privilege, but
Does sound a little racy.
it does sound a little racy.
Yeah.
So let's go back and reiterate that the pizza that I eat, because it's called a white pizza, it's not racist.
We'll just cut all the white. Every time we say white, we'll just cut that.
We'll just cut that out. It's just a pizza. So it's got a white sauce, and the meats that are on there is meatball, bacon, and chicken. And then the veggies, you got to get basil, garlic, not like powder, like I'm talking about cloves, whole cloves on that bad boy.
Are you making this pizza or buying it?
I'll make it. Yeah,
You're making it.
I'll make it, but I'll get that too. Like that's what I'll order if I get it. And then I put onions, black olives, and the basil with those other three meats. Primo.
That sounds amazing.
Primo.
Yeah. I just like a good red savory sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to be more sauce than there should be.
You want it sloppy, like a sloppy Joe pizza?
Yeah, but it can't destroy the pizza at the same time. If that pizza stays together, then it's getting nailed.
So what do you think the right ratio is for sauce to crust to toppings in no specific order? If we were to go crust, sauce, toppings, what's the ratio?
I'm a New York style
Okay,
guy. So
you like a thin crust.
yeah, you can go like, I guess that's around 30%,
Okay.
maybe 40.
Okay.
Just spitballing. And then the sauce, you can go heavy. Can't go light. Then you're just eating cheesy bread.
It's weird.
Yeah.
What kind of person eats that? Sociopaths.
Unless you're dipping it in the red sauce.
That's a good way to not have your toppings slide off.
And I'm a big dipper.
Big dipper.
I'm a big dipper. Like the stars.
So even if your pizza's got a lot of sauce on there, you still dipping. You stay dipping.
You know, if it's dry for sure, but if they make the pizza right, then I'll just eat the pizza. But
Gotcha.
if there's sauce on the table, I might
All
just
day
be
dipping.
dipping. Yeah.
All day dipping. Yeah, I like a New York style crust. In fact, the crispier it is, the better. I don't like the Pizza Hut's the earliest I remember having the big deep dish. I hated it because it was like all bread. Like I don't know.
The nostalgia of Pizza Hut back in the 90s was it's like the highest nostalgia for me.
Yeah, like that and Blockbuster. Like, do you remember the three things that were paramount for any guy our age, like millennial, anywhere from 40 to maybe 30? Like, and I say 30 is kind of young, maybe, is probably, no, 30 is way too young. I would say we were on the back end of that. I would say anywhere from like 33 to about 40. The three things: Pizza Hut, Blockbuster, and N64. You had those three things right there.
I should have been traditional like that if I came from a normal upbringing. And I'm not. I think you had left our place of employment before we had this conversation. You left. We had
Place
this
that shall not be
conversation.
named.
Yeah.
You can say it. I don't care. Unless you
Hey,
know.
we don't want it to free ads, man.
They're not cutting us revenue, okay?
So we had talked about. I went to a Christian school from church school.
Because it's
So
not private school.
it's a church school.
Okay.
So yeah, I think because so many people I work with and hang out with, they're like, yeah, I went to public school. We went over to this public school, like wherever in Houston that they went to. And when I was like, well, I went to private school, it puts me in a light that I feel like I'm not supposed to be in. I'm like, I'm not a private school kid.
What do you think people are looking at you like?
Well, I guess I did forget I did go to actual private school.
I think that if you have to go and get accepted and pay a tuition, to me, that's private school.
You went to private school. We went to Humble Christian School
Dang.
in Humble.
You just threw them out there.
Name
like
dropping.
that. Name dropping.
So, and so this is what happened. My aunt was a teacher in the school. So we got a discount.
You got it in.
Got it in.
I had a guy tell me in the Navy that it's not about who you know, it's who you blow. I think at that moment, I was like, I probably shouldn't have joined the Navy.
Did he outrank you?
Yes,
Oh.
by at least 6 ranks.
Oh,
He was a
for
hard
sure.
6. And I'm not talking about a measurement. But
Is
so
it,
you...
is it an E6?
Yes, E6. Yes. The E being enlisted.
So
The
I've
being
never
enlisted.
been in the military. So it's E1 to E6.
No, E6 is just a first, at least in the Navy, it's a first class petty officer. So E1 is like anywhere from like E1 to E3 is a non-commissioned officer, which means like you're nothing. E4 is like you're a non-commissioned officer, NCO. It's like not, in the Navy, it's a petty officer, third class. E5 is a second class petty officer. E6 is a first class petty officer. E7 is a chief. Yeah, that's right. And then senior chief, E8, and then 9 is master chief.
The thing about that school, I feel like it was a good mix of the races.
I feel like that's what me and my wife are talking about, is that we currently have Harjat in a private school. It's a Christian school. And he's coming to the age where he's going to be learning educational curriculum, reading, math, stuff like that. And so we want to get him over to a bigger school, but it's a predominantly white school. And we were both like, I don't know if we want to send him there. Not that there's anything wrong with white people. I'm white. I'm just saying, like, I'd rather have my son around a mix of people like I was, right? And I feel like
It's like 99% white.
I believe so. I don't know the stat.
What's the name of it?
I don't want to name drop, but it has good ratings. It has really good curriculum. They have a good extracurricular activities.
All the white people are rating it.
That might be the case. So you're saying it might be biased
I'm sure anybody can get in there
if you pay.
if you pay.
I'm sure there's slots. I'm sure they just not going to shovel a bunch of people who are willing to throw money. Although maybe that's what keeps people. Maybe that's the soft check, right? Is the money?
Like your kid is a little in front of mine, age-wise.
Yeah.
And I would want the same thing. I feel like I was blessed to be around a group of different people. I remember my best friends that I felt were my best friends in school because I hung out with them all the time, and they were not white.
Yeah.
And it didn't, I didn't ever think about it
Yeah.
because we were kids,
Yeah. It's crazy because, like, I don't ever remember that being a thought. You know what I mean? Being around a lot of diverse groups of people. And I think that's what makes this city great, because there is a lot of diversity here. And I think that it's just a great city to grow up in. I don't personally like the city as a city. I think it's a boring city. But for culture and as far as like being brought up in a city, I think that Houston's a good one. I think it's relatively safe compared to like Chicago or LA or.
I agree with you.
But
I think that makes it extra special that Houston is boring and there's still so many people here.
it's because the money, dude. It's a lot of money here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of money in a lot of these Texas cities, right?
Like we don't have anything exciting.
Nothing. You have at every highway, when two highways meet together, you can almost assuredly bet that there's going to be a Chick-fil-A, a Best Buy, a Target,
And a Blockbuster.
and a Blockbuster. R.I.P. Blockbuster. R.I.P. to the good 90s summers. Those are some good times, dude. Some
Yeah.
good times. The 90s, early 2000s. I would say late 90s.
You had no responsibility.
You just ride your bike.
It's exactly what we did.
When the street lights came on, you came in. You know what I would do? I would be so thirsty. I would come in. I would get like those big souvenir cups. Not fill it with water, mind. I would fill it up with milk. Just whole milk, motherfucker. Like a whole quart. Thirsty, sweating, red skin. Just sweating my dick off and just quenching my thirst with a big old cup of whole milk. I remember
It tasted sweet back then, didn't it?
Oh, I don't know, dude. I still love the taste of milk. I still love the taste of milk.
I do. I don't
drink it often, but when I do, I'm like, God dang. Like, it's so good.
You think it's healthy?
It's healthier than Sprite. It's all relativity, right? It's all relativity. I mean,
feel like there's been some hate on milk because there's so much fake milk.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, people that sell almond milk don't want you to drink cow milk.
Well, that's all probably due to financial things. I hate it when people try to like frame their mission statement. Like, not saying that almond milk companies do that, but like they frame their mission statement around something that people can feel in their heart, and they try to hit you with the feelings like it's cruel for cows to be milked and stuff. And there's probably some level of degree of cruelty there, what they do to get it. But I mean, like, there's good farms out there that don't do stuff. Is it weird? Like, would it be weird for my wife to be outside in the backyard and have some strange animal, let's just say a coyote, just milk her? And if she didn't milk anything, just for the consumption of this coyote, you know what I mean? And the only way to get my wife to create milk is to put our baby in front of her, just so she can lactate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's very weird.
It's weird. But we do the same thing with cows though, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes that's like a method. They'll put like the calf out there in front of the cow.
Humans. Like, we're supposed to be like the
ambassadors.
Top of the species.
Yeah.
If aliens came here, they're like, hey, we need some more human milk. Would that be like offer up a sacrifice of human milk?
Have you tried breast milk?
Yes.
Yes, it's sweet. It's like desserty.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best milk I've had.
I don't know. I haven't drank enough human milk in comparison to cow milk for me to be a trustworthy source on that debate. But I can tell you that human milk is sweeter than cow milk. But cow milk, that cream.
That cream. So you're talking about whole milk too.
Oh yeah. I don't want that 2% shit.
I got stuck on the 2% for a while because that's all we bought.
Gimme.
But if you want the thick goodness,
oh yeah,
it's in the whole.
Everyone loves a girthy milk. You know what I mean?
I could never do 1%. I don't know what the big difference between 2% and 1%.
What is the percent?
There's a big difference.
It's more than a percent.
Oh yeah, I think it throws people off. That is only 1% away. But skim milk is water.
That is water.
That's what colored white.
I think they probably got a jug of water and they probably dumped like half a cup of milk in there, shook it up, and be like, "Yeah, just put that on the shelf. It's fine. Skim. It's mostly
probably
water
just
anyway."
What's left over. It's just like the.
Is that how they process it? Like, there's like the whole milk is like the first amount that they get out and put in cartons, and then 2% is like the stuff that has less fat, and then go.
Well, have you talked to these people from New York?
I haven't talked to anybody from New York. I don't even think I've talked to anybody that's from New York.
I've talked to somebody from New York.
What?
And they have cows in New York.
What?
That are living there.
In the city? You're talking about upstate.
New York State.
Yeah.
I work with somebody from New York City, and she taught me how important it is to differentiate people from the state and versus the city. When you say New York, that's implied that you're talking about someone from the city.
Right. Well, it's because it's such a powerhouse city, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's understandable.
It makes the state.
I think when someone says, I'm from New York, I go, city or state?
And if it's someone from the city, they're automatically going to be offended.
Yeah, like they're mad.
Yeah.
Like, is there something wrong with the rest of the state?
I feel like they have like a whole Texan vibe about where you're from Texas, you get, like, I'm from Texas. Same thing as New York City.
I love Texas.
But you don't like Houston.
I don't like Houston. I love Texas.
You want to move to Austin?
Somewhere in the hill country. I'm cool with San Antonio as well.
I want to go to Big Bend.
I've never been. That's a 9-hour drive from here, isn't it?
It's far. It might be 12 or 10. It's far.
We should make that happen.
We're actually trying to see state parks this year. My wife and I and
I mean, I feel like that's all of Texas, though. I mean, that's why I feel like there's a lot of money in Houston and Texas in general.
Houston's
you have
probably
healthcare and you have oil. And now with Elon Musk coming down here, they're going to get, lithium battery refineries. I think there's a lot of software developing companies that want to come down here.
That would be good.
Because Texas is pro-business. Like, if you're an employee, you don't have rights, dude. They could fire you for wearing black glasses and wearing a black V-neck. You know what I mean?
Feel targeted.
You should. You're the person in front of me, so that's... They can fire you.
They can do that, can't they?
Yes.
And
it's
then
a
put
right
you
to
out on
work
the
state.
streets. And
Yes.
like, hey, we got a tent for you. This is where we want you to live now.
Well, we're not San Francisco.
What happened to San Fran? So
That's crazy, right?
That's sad.
It's crazy. You know what gets me is that like, they've been saying how bad it's been over there, and then whenever, but he came there.
I know what he looks like.
I know what he looks like. He's always wearing a suit and well put together.
He looks like a big man.
You think he's tall?
I feel like he has. Have you seen him look at his population? He looks like look down at them.
Is it because he's like on a pedestal somewhere looking down? Like, is he on a balcony?
That wouldn't surprise me. The way what you can do these days, they just have this little platform that he walks on. So when they're videoing him, he just looks.
Oh my gosh, that's so tacky.
I believe
that they would
do
that.
crazy stuff like that.
I'm sure we do it all the time too. But whenever that he came to San Francisco, they had cleaned up the entire city.
Oh yeah,
do you remember that?
Yeah,
they cleaned up the entire city like within like a weekend. And
it's embarrassing.
And it's like
the fact
dude,
that they did that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't, host a foreign person over here and show them how amazing our cities are, but why can't you do that for the people that live there that pay that
and you
pay
have
taxes?
the ability to do it. You decided to do it when you had a guest over.
Yeah,
this is embarrassing.
But you know what? It's funny. It's funny I say that, but I feel like that's, at least on my end, that's how people treat their house. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
dude. If you want to get this house clean, on my end, me and my wife even joke about this. Like, this year, we're gonna invite a bunch of people over so we can just clean. Because every time, and we're so efficient at it too, especially when there's a crazy deadline.
There's people coming over.
Yeah, dude, you get in like crazy workhorse mode, and you're like, dude, scrubbing baseboards.
I don't know what.
Hi, Dustin.
I joke with my wife the same joke. I was like, you need to tell me there's someone coming over so I can clean faster
every day.
Because I'll be hanging out with Oliver because I'm already, I have to take care of him, take care of myself, and we're home. I was like, I'm gonna try to clean the house today. And I'm not doing a good job. And then the other day she texted me like, my sister's gonna come over tonight. It was already 3:00.
Better hustle, boy.
The adrenaline and the attention to detail goes through the roof. And I was like, man, I've cleaned this room faster and moved faster than I have all day.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It works though. You put a fire under someone's butt, either they die or they get with it.
I perform better in the clutch.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why we chose emergency medicine. Right?
Yeah. I love ER.
Well, just disclose right now that we both work in the healthcare field, and
we're both nurses.
Both nurses. And I say all that, and I realize that I didn't even have you introduce yourself. I'm a terrible host.
So unprofessional. But your setup makes up for it.
The setup's not that impressive, actually.
I like it.
Well, I'm glad you like it as my third guest. But yes,
I thought you were,
introduce yourself. I'm so sorry.
My name is Wesley.
Hi, Wesley.
M. And I'm an ER nurse.
That's what's up, dude.
For now.
That's what's up. But yeah, I think like working under the clutch is definitely like the theme of ER, right? It's either like completely BS or it's like,
yeah,
it needs to be addressed now.
And that's why the people I work with are like, you're kind of slothful. You don't really do anything.
Like your colleagues?
Yes. I was like, well, there's no emergencies around here. We haven't had one emergency today. So yeah, I can tell. So I'm with a part of the organization that we work for, Memorial Hermann.
You're not going to get paid for saying that.
As long as I don't get fired. So I'm in their float pool. Let's say that. And
are you part-time? Gotcha.
I'm full-time. So so I get floated around for different hospitals, and it's interesting. I have a different image depending on where I'm at.
You put on like different personalities?
No, I'm just seen in a different light.
Oh, for sure, because you're not part of the family.
I don't have the energy to have that many personalities that I know about, I guess. So at Northeast, I think they saw me as a workhorse, non-complainer, work anywhere and get things done.
I feel like that's every guy. in the field.
Pretty much, except that one guy at Northeast.
I don't know who you're talking about. I cannot recall. You're talking about Alex? I'm just kidding.
No, Casey. He's not here to defend himself. So.
We'll just punch him behind his back.
Well, he was always the one working in the critical area.
Casey?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got burnt out at TMC. And so I just did not want to deal with that.
That's the worst place from what I heard.
Man, it's crazy because being level 1, first of all, I feel like nurses in general, and this may be other professions as well, but I've really noticed it in the nursing profession. And again, that might be because I'm at my age. I'm starting to notice things, different principles on life and things. But I know that nurses in general, I feel like you can tell when someone's burnt out. And when someone's burnt out, I really attribute that to bad coping mechanisms. They don't know how to cope with stress because there's nothing about nursing that is like not stressful, right? Even like the mundane tasks are stressful because it's just like these little things that you just have to do. But like the nurses are the worst because they will literally kill their spirit because they're not coping appropriately. They're using some sort of like, I don't know, boozing or, whatever unhealthy coping mechanism.
A lot of nurses booze.
Yeah. And they use that and they wonder why they feel so bad.
What's a good coping? I'm interested. What's a good coping?
I feel like anything physical, even if it's just like a walk, like when you get home before you come into the house, assuming that you don't have any responsibilities when you get in, but just taking a walk around the block and like with silence and just absorbing everything outside, even in the burbs. You know what I mean? Like there's trees, there's things like something out there in nature. Like there's something out there in nature that, really I feel isn't intertwined.
It sucks the stress out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just anything physical to, to kind of get you through it. But I feel like nurses don't identify that as a problem. And then 15, 20 years go down the road and they're just like their soul is dead. And they don't know why. They don't know how they got there. But I feel like they're the absolute like worst when it comes to like dealing with stress. And a lot of it is because it's long hours and you probably don't have the energy when you get off, but you just have to find the energy. It's a
12-hour shift.
Yeah. But I say all that to say is like at TMC is that everybody was burnt out. And I feel like a lot of them didn't have coping mechanisms. They would always talk about, we're going to go out and get hammered. And I'm just like, dude, like that sounds miserable. You got to be back in less than 12 hours. Like, sure, I did that in the military, but like
by the time you drive home and eat, and then you have to wake up early to shower.
It's like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And you didn't even relieve any stress. The only thing you did was put more stress on your body. So the next day, you're going to do it all over again, except now you came in with the handicap.
Especially when you get out of your 20s, you're not going to have that quick rebound.
Heck no, dog. I have 2 beers. I'm sore for 2 days.
Well, last one time we went out, how many beers did I drink?
3 or 4, right?
I think 3.
Yeah, I was like, I can't remember.
Over the hours we were there. And
yeah. That was good, though.
It was good.
That was, like that's where I'm at.
It still hit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
That's why I Ubered home.
Did you Uber home?
No.
I would say so responsible of you. That's why we both Ubered home, by the way. That's what we did. Well,
Lyft, I used to.
But yeah, so everyone's burnt out. And so when you have like this burnout culture and everyone's upset, like people don't understand, like they're social people. They vibe off of the atmosphere. We are a product of our environment. And so you have an environment where everyone's stressed out, burnt out, negative. That festers like a cancer. And so I feel like that's the whole culture over there, which sucks because it's such a cool place. You get to see so many things. It's such a good place to learn as a nurse.
People.
Yeah.
The people at heart are very cool.
Absolutely. They're some of the coolest people I met over there, but they're all like killing themselves because it's a stressful job and they don't know how to cope with that. And I'm not saying everyone.
That's how I feel at Southwest.
At Southwest?
And
Southwest is busy.
It's busy. And it's groundier than Northeast. I don't know a better word.
Southwest was the epicenter of all the COVID transfers when it first happened. That's what I had.
I think we're the redheaded stepchild of the system.
No, I think Northeast is the redheaded stepchild of the system.
You haven't worked at Southwest, though.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty... I think the clientele's a little different.
Dude, the ER is an ER, dude. All the patient clientele is the same. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, what we had to deal with at Northeast with the holds and the no movement and all the stuff you have to do out in the lobby.
Yeah.
So my wife on Netflix has this show that she hasn't started, but I can tell she wants to. It's called New Amsterdam. And it's a
Don't do it. It's a trap.
It looks terrible.
It's Grey's Anatomy 2.0.
That makes sense. So, but in the previews,
It's an okay show.
you know, little Netflix previews as you hover over something, it's like they're having a big meeting with all the doctors, and the ER doctor's like, I want to have no wait times. I want to send people straight back to our room. And the guy's like, let's do it.
And that's it? That was the end of the episode? They figured it out?
That's the end of the preview. That's the ER.
Can you imagine if it was that easy?
I love how much they dumb down things. I was like, man,
why didn't we think of that?
No waiting room.
Why didn't we think
get rid of the waiting room?
Yeah, why didn't we think about just getting them right back to the room?
Certainly people aren't this stupid. I guess they are. They don't know. Because the same people that...
Well, I don't want to get in trouble here. I'm not talking about... Well...
No, I'm talking about the complexity of... Like, even like the whole people... Everyone in the healthcare system knows that's just not accurate.
Not at all. There's too many things logistically that have to...
Like our bosses, they know... This is way too more complex than just like getting rid of the waiting room. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's sad, but it is what it is. But yeah, I don't know really why I was talking about why nurses are having like not really like
it happens to doctors too.
Socially healthy people, I feel like, are not very socially healthy.
When you used to talk about burnout, I feel burnout, and I feel like I'm amazed that people keep showing up to where I work because it's such a bad place. If you're not coping well, and
is that because you say that or they say that?
I guess because I'm sure they're going through what I'm going through, and
do you feel burnout currently?
Yes.
Okay.
But I did go through a stretch. I think tomorrow I work, and that'll be the end of like a 7 days out of 10 days I worked. So I did.
Jesus.
I bit off way too much.
They treat me so good at where I work, dude. I can't complain.
Because you're never there.
It's because I'm never there. You know, there's never a problem if the problem's not there, right? So I'm not there.
But you're there 3 days a week, though, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I think health starts, is when you don't financially have to go into work. More.
Right. Because that's what the 2 years prior looked like. It was just a constant grind.
Yeah.
And that's like to go back to what you're saying about you didn't know I played video games, because I wasn't talking about that. It's because I was like grinding. And then I really felt it. I really felt like what it was doing to my body.
And you're still trying to work out and eat healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's how you were coping, I'm guessing.
I feel like if you can't go and do something physical, then just eat healthy. Like if you can't do anything and your schedule doesn't allow you to work out, which I have a hard time believing. The reason why I don't work out is because I'm lazy and I'm a little punk bitch. Do you know what I mean? That's a mental thing that I've got to get over. And I call myself a punk bitch all the time. I feel like that's how God talks to me. Like when I'm going through something hard, God's like, Alex, stop being a punk bitch. You got this, big dog.
Like your problems are so small.
Yeah, like
maybe that's a good way.
Just need a reminder.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I would try to do to try to my best is to eat healthy, because I knew I wasn't going to go to the gym.
So this is why I want to bring this up. We're talking about burnout and doing healthy things. It brings to mind one of the most burnout person I know of is a doctor. He looks so burnt out.
Southwest?
Yeah. He comes into work and he'll see a patient with you and he just like looks like he's dragging himself across everything he does. And he's one of the healthiest people I know. He exercises and eats super healthy. I guess that's how he's still coping. Like if he didn't do those things.
That might be the only thing that's gotten him to hang on.
He almost looks like one of those doctors that should have went into a different career path.
Like not in the medical field? Or are you talking about like a different practice?
A different practice, yeah. Was that the doctor that left Northeast to pursue psychiatry? He went back to residency.
Is someone that we know?
Yeah. You worked with him more than I did. I think it's Cayenne.
I'm bad with names, man. I'll remember a face. I remember I seen you in 1996 at Blockbuster in the summer.
Which one?
With my Pizza Hut. Like I'll remember that kind of stuff, but I won't remember a name.
You know what was better than Pizza Hut? Pizza Inn.
Pizza Inn, dude. Pizza Inn. Is that a Houston thing?
Maybe. I thought they had
Pizza Inn.
Have you been to Pizza Inn?
Yeah. I never went inside, but I remember my dad would always get like these weird, like, because he didn't like Pizza Hut. And he would get, because, you know, like he's an adult. He understands like what good food is. And I'm, you know, a stupid kid. Like,
what was your dad eating back then? That he
whatever
thought was
he
good
wanted.
Food?
Whatever he wanted.
A steak. Steaks are timeless, I guess.
Yeah, my dad would never cook steak. Probably because he didn't know how to cook a steak. Sorry, Dad. Not saying that now. He does a lot more like cooking now, but he was also waking up at probably 4:45 in the morning and not coming home till 7 or 8.
What did he
5
do
days
for
a week.
that?
What did he do? What do you mean? Like, what was his
For
job?
that schedule, yeah.
He was in construction, like project management.
I hear that's a really good career now.
It can be. It can be. My dad has done really well for himself, but he's definitely paid the ultimate price, which I think is time,
Oh man,
because it's the only currency that we can't get back. It's finite.
yeah.
Yeah, you can make cash anytime you want to. You can find a way to make money, but you cannot get back time. I just feel like that job really kept him busy, and he probably missed out on a lot. And I become very self-aware because of that. And I understand that he did what he had to do. You know, he was just providing the best way, the only way he really could.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm sure there were sacrifices that were made that that might have been not have been his first choice.
Did you understand it more
I understand
when you
it.
became a dad?
Yeah. You don't understand it as a kid.
Because
I didn't.
Man, financially, I gotta get things for my family. I need money for my family.
It's like you're out there, you got to hustle.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, you know, so he paid the price, and we all pay the price somewhere down the line. It just depends on how much you want to pay, what that price is for you, and how to maximize the income you can with the less amount of time you put in. Because I feel like the ultimate goal.
Makes me want to work from home.
You can.
Has your wife thought about working from home?
Yes. We talk about it probably once a week.
That's a lot. Because now she's in the... What does she do?
She's a psychiatric nurse practitioner. I'm married up. That's right. Your boy married up.
I for sure married up. But that's I think I want to pursue the same career path.
I like psych. A lot of people don't like it, but it's a very like social job. Like, you have to interact and talk with people. It's not like, and I'm using examples in the healthcare, but it's not like you're working in the ICU where you have an intubated patient. You don't have to talk to the person. You know what I mean? Like, you have to engage with the people.
Is that the opposite of a psych nurse as an ICU nurse? Probably.
I would say maybe on a social spectrum, I'd say that there's definitely like a lot of differences compared to like, you know, I feel like nurses, like a floor nurse probably has a little more autonomy with medications than I would say a psychiatric nurse. Yeah. Because you're constantly having to play engineer with.
So we're both ER nurses. We've seen a lot of psych patients.
And a lot of ICU patients.
Yeah. But how many people know how to talk to a psych patient, you think?
I think everyone has the ability to talk to a psych patient. I just don't think people have the patience to do it.
It's big on patience, isn't it?
Yeah. Like for me, I just try to talk I always give people benefit of the doubt, even when they're having a shitty day.
Yeah.
And people at work definitely make fun of me for it. And I'm not ever going to change. Just because I would like, if they're coming to the emergency room, they're probably having a really bad day. Chances are. So why would I come and approach you?
I remember you cutting people slack. We were in a room together and you were taking your time in the conversation, and I would have cut it short. But you did it with a manly grace. So I was like, I can't interrupt him.
I don't even remember.
I forget who it was. I was like, oh, we need to get out of here.
You're like pointing to your watch, like, it's time. And you're looking at the charge nurse saying, like, hey, call him on the phone. Say, page him. Say.
I did that for a doctor the other day. This doctor was it felt like 10 minutes. I was like, there's no.
It's a long time.
Especially for a doctor.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way she wants to still be talking to these people. So you give them an out. But that's how we see these people that they don't have any social life. I guess the psych patients too, like they come to the hospital because they have these ailments, but then they haven't talked to anybody in like 3 weeks.
I feel like that is their social life. Like, you know, when we go to work or meet up with friends, I feel like that's the equivalent for that demographic. Not all psych patients, but I'm saying like for people that go to emergency room frequently, like I feel like that's a part of their social life. It's sad.
Yeah. And when it's not violent, it's actually interesting because you can tell they almost feel relieved that they're not just talking to themselves.
Yeah.
Or hearing
like they have
voices.
someone to talk to.
Yeah, they have someone real to talk to.
Yeah. Which is why I like talking to them. And you tell you some crazy stuff. You're like, oh man, that's wild, dude.
I feel like they tell me how to run my life a lot.
I love it. I'm like, word, son? Hold on. Let me write that down. I think the practices are different. So she's a psychiatric nurse practitioner at work, and she is a psychiatric nurse practitioner at home. She has 3 psych patients at home.
3 at home.
Yep.
All 3 of you.
All 3 of us.
Y'all are all boys, right?
Yep.
And the dog is a
girl. That's her only female companion. But I'm the only one that shows love to that girl. Let no one tell you differently.
So your boys aren't there yet
To show love?
to your dog.
It's funny because my son, Ezra, is he doesn't like show affection, but I know the affection's there. Judah, on the other hand, Judah and Luna act as though they're an old married couple. Like the second Judah walks in, Luna gets up in his face. He's like, "No, Luna, no, stop it!"
That's too much.
Yeah, like back off. When he's eating and he drops some food and Luna comes up like a scavenger, Luna, sissy, no, sissy, no. Like they just bigger like old couple. It's funny. It's funny.
So we actually have a cat. That's a male. And so I guess my wife is the only female since we're all boys. But so they're more. Our cat's more scared of my son because he hasn't come to the ability just to calmly soothe the cat like you have to.
Gracefully.
Yeah.
You can't run up.
So instead of your dogs coming to your kids, like my cat's usually running for my son.
It's crazy though because cats are like natural predators, right? Like if not to say this would happen or I hope it would happen, but that cat could kill your son. Like that cat could kill Judah. I really feel like it could.
Oh yeah, when
like
my
any
son,
cat,
we watched it closely when we were young or when he was little.
Yeah. Like cats are dangerous. Like they're so close to their feral instinct as compared to like dogs. Dogs are so domesticated. You could like punch a dog in the face and they'll come right back and be like, I love you. You punch a cat in the face, you have forever made an adversary and you better sleep with one eye open if that cat sleeps in the house with you.
That's exactly true. It was so well said. But it makes me think of like if you die in your home, there's some dogs that will just die there with you.
I've heard stories where dogs just ate the corpse.
I think they wait. I think they wait until they're actually hungry or they wait until their bowl's empty, which is the least you can do. And cats will go straight for your nose. They'll eat your face first. As soon as your heart stops. And I think that's been a myth that people in that industry keep under the rug.
That cats are dangerous?
10 or 15 years. Not dangerous, but they'll want to eat your face as soon as you die.
I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people probably know that though. Like I feel like there's 2 types of people when it comes to cats. Like those that like don't want anything to do with it because they just associate it to maybe like a feminine quality. And then let's break it up into 3 categories. Is that one I just said. The second one is like I just don't like cats because they're mean. And then the other one is probably like the owners of the cats who like respect the proud, like respect its instincts, like really appreciate the animal as the animal. Do you know what I mean?
That's where
I feel like that sounded dumb when I said that because it's almost like any animal that you get. Like I just really respect this dog as a dog, but like they understand the cat is a cat, and I say that meaning like they're not upset when the cat comes home with like a dead rat that they found outside because they understand that that's what cats do. And you're like, oh yes. And they understand that that's like the cat showing affection. Like they really understand like the cat. I feel like that's really dumb to say because of course they would get that. You're not going to get a cat if you don't like those things, but.
And they're both so useful for different things. As far as, keep your barn empty of rats. No rats.
No rats. You don't have any rats in your barn?
No rats in my barn.
Man, it's crazy.
For my inside cat. Keeps
An inside cat could kill a feral dog. I don't care what you say. I really feel that way.
Yeah, I think as long as you don't cut their nails or, declaw them, probably.
Which is crazy.
I think in most fights that are out there.
you want to say like recorded like they're doing some animal fighting ring?
Yeah. I think the cat gets the upper hand because they're more cruel, maybe.
They're because they're closer to the feral instincts. Like it's in their like they're so close to like I need to kill something than dogs are.
Unless you have like a trained dog. The trained dog, I think would maybe.
I mean, it's
those instincts that the cat has, like always landing on their feet. We had the cat we had before this cat, Suki. We lived on the 3rd floor of an apartment complex. We left the balcony window open one night, and when we woke up, we could not find our cat. But we found him in the bushes. She had fell the 3 flights, and there's nothing wrong with that cat.
I was waiting for you to say like she was dead. Like I'm looking at you, I'm just like holding it. I'm like, did she die?
See, and I was holding back the reveal, and I didn't even realize that's what I was holding back from. Not a good storyteller.
No, that was good. I was engaged. I was like going like the maniacal finger thing. I don't know.
No, I don't. She didn't dislocate a hip or break a bone. She was just like, it's cold out here. Where the heck y'all been?
Where you been, dog? I got stuck. She was the cat that was like from the picture. Just hang in there.
I have a lot of respect for cats because they are more on. It's more. I think it's more what we deserve. And I've heard. I forget where I heard this from, but we as humans deserve a cat more than a dog.
Why is that?
Because you can punch a dog in the face, like you said, and then there's still your best friend.
Right. So you're saying that you got to cherish that relationship and treat it right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. There is something about a dog though that when you let's say you have a really hard day. Let's say you're a single dude. You don't really, because like single dudes are not calling other single dudes like, bro, I had a really hard day. Yeah, people are.
Why can't we have a society like that?
I feel like me and you do that.
Yeah,
I feel like every time we get together, we have like a serious, heartfelt conversation that's not really being recorded right now. But like me and you do have some serious
last time we
conversations.
Went out,
yeah, that was a really
just
intense,
talking life, yeah.
like dude to dude, dad to dad, husband to husband conversations going on there.
But my wife gets off work and she's on the phone with 2 other females that they talk and they'll tell each other about the day. But if I get off work and call you, what's wrong with that? Like, man,
there's really nothing wrong with that.
I can see myself doing it now.
My phone's here. It's just usually around 7 or 8.
Like, man,
if I'm off, I'm
and
dealing
you
with the
will
2
understand
heathens.
where I'm coming from and probably have help.
I don't know if I can help you, but I can give you an ear. And I'll be like, for real? That B word did what?
Exactly.
We got to get that B word. But yeah, I don't know where we were going with the whole dudes don't call dudes. But let's say like yeah. So like guys and guys, yeah, right. So I was talking about
single guy.
The single guy. He's coming home and he's not reaching out to his male counterpart to talk about his day. And he comes home and who's there? Old faithful dog. You had a bad day, dude.
You can't beat that.
No, because that dog's like happy to see you.
Mm-hmm.
The enthusiasm, unless you got like a 14-year-old dog, which I've had, but there's something about like.
Is your current dog 14 years old?
No, my current dog is 7, and she's built like a brick house. You see how thick she is?
Yeah, I thought she was older.
No,
she's carrying that thick.
I don't know what it is.
Around.
I don't feed her that much. I've even like cut back on food. I don't understand why she's so thick.
It might just be the style.
See, it to me.
Or the breed.
Like I don't feel like her skin, like the tissue, like I don't feel like there's a lot of tissue between her bone and her actual like fur. Do you know what I mean?
She looks healthy.
Yeah, but she's thick. Like if you like hold, like if you put your hands around her torso, like it's all bone. Like you're not getting like a bunch of fat, but she looks fat.
She's big bone.
And everyone's like, dude, your dog is fat. I'm going, dude, I don't know why. I mean, I don't really walk her. That could be it. I show affection to my dog, but I don't do like all the things with the dog, which makes me feel like I don't deserve a dog.
I'm lazy. I feel too lazy to have a dog. Speaking of, when we lived in the city, people own these dogs, and they leave them in a kennel all day because it's apartment life.
Yeah,
in
a kennel though. Like, why do you keep them in a kennel?
Because they don't want them tearing up their house or their small apartment.
You crate train them, dude. It sounds barbaric, but you crate chain them for like a month and they're good.
Oh, you mean for like just being...
Whenever you first get a dog?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like even when they're older, you can do that. I mean, it's probably more traumatic for them as an older dog, but like as a baby, like a puppy.
So they'll be okay in the apartment?
We've never had an issue with Luna, ever. She's never had an accident in the house. The only time she's ever had an accident in the house is probably due to bladder incontinence when she got excited. But like she's never had an accident in the house where she's like, I'm going to pee right here. I'm going to poop right here. Like I can leave for the day. I can let her out in the morning and come back at 5. She has not had an accident. She'll go right out and pee. You
thought about getting a doggy door?
No. Because my second born son will mess that up. Anything nice that we've done, my second born will mess it up. He's a bulldozer with everything. And I know that sounds like I'm being negative, but he's going to be my OG thug for the family.
What's the last thing he did? Or just something memorable?
Like he's always falling out of the chair. Like anytime we're having dinner, he's like he moves around like he's drunk, like he's hammered drunk, like falling out of the chair, getting out, like dropping things, picking stuff up, bumping his head. Like he's always hurting his head. I feel like he's gonna be like Aaron Hernandez.
That sounds like my kid.
Yeah, like just like dude. At one point, like, cause at what point am I gonna have to take you to the doctor and do like imaging? Because he hits his head all the time.
Well, you do those MRIs and they can't even see what Aaron Hernandez had.
Couldn't see?
They couldn't see.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I watched that documentary about Aaron Hernandez, and it was
pretty good.
Felt eye-opening. Based on the information they had. I was like, that makes no sense. You're doing stuff that no normal person would do.
Like his behavior, or are you talking about his job?
Behavior.
Yeah.
Like you have it made pretty much. I mean,
I think a part of that was the physical trauma in his head, but I think a lot of that too had to do with his upbringing as well. It was a combination of both.
Yeah.
I don't feel like if you play football and you get CTE, you're doing these things. You know what I mean? Potentially. Because it's where it affects the front of your brain, which is for like judgment. Mm-hmm. I'm probably wrong. Probably like an idiot right now. But
you gotta fact check yourself.
Huh?
You gotta fact check yourself.
I'll fact check it later. I think it's a prefrontal cortex.
I did.
Like, give me some facts. Give me
I
some
did almost bring
data.
my computer.
Huh?
I almost brought my computer.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I need to fact check everything I say.
I have my phone for that. I try not to do that, but
yeah, I don't think we might be there later.
Yeah, thoughts, actions, and emotions. So I mean, it makes sense. So if it damages that, then he was behaving very oddly. But it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Man, we went a long way from being burnt out all the way to here. So that's a lot of reason why I wasn't playing video games. It's because I kind of got caught up in that hamster wheel of just grinding.
Does that help you with your burnout video game?
Yeah, and I think it's because it's escapism. I think that's probably the most not popular, but it's probably the most used coping mechanism. And I think a lot of like coping mechanisms can be under the umbrella of escapism. If you're watching a show like a sitcom to make you laugh over a stressful situation, you're escaping your reality and living in the reality of your show. That's escapism. Same thing for a book, a movie. Same thing for a video game. Somewhere where you're not being yourself.
So escapism and coping are the same thing?
I think it's a coping mechanism. Yeah, I think it's a form of coping mechanism. Yeah, like it's a...
And you can do it in a healthy amount.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so there, just like anything, there's a healthy amount and an unhealthy amount.
Yeah. You
can lose track of everything for escaping too much. I think that's the important thing. You just need to find that balance. Because I don't believe there's anybody on this planet that can just deal with all the stresses of life. Even if you have a perfect life, you're going to have stress. You know what I mean? And even in that perfect life, you're going to have to deal with stress in a way.
Oh, yeah.
So it's impossible for you to...
Rich people get divorced. Just the same.
Is that what it is? Oh, I thought you were saying that was their coping mechanism. Having a hard day, honey. Sorry, we got to get a divorce. Yeah, dude. So you what video games do you play on Steam? If you were home right now,
I'd probably do Apex.
Apex?
I have
like Apex Legends?
Yeah.
I have that right here.
I need to get a monitor this size. I have a laptop.
I have monitors you can have. We can literally just give you one.
Well, I need to
get rid of it.
The only thing that'll run it is my laptop. So I need to get this setup that you got. You got a nice setup.
Like you need to build a PC?
One day.
Like you have it? Oh, dude, I'll help you do that. I built that one.
I hear it's pretty easy.
It's like
Putting
Legos.
things together. Sounds like the only part is gluing the chip on.
Yeah, that's the only part that really made me nervous. It's like not even a glue. It's like a it's like a bonding agent. So there's like no static.
Yeah.
I was nervous about that. And when you look at like all the dozens of like micro pins around, like, oh God, I hope I don't pin one of these. Like I was just like, that was the hardest part. And it was just the stress.
And they're the most expensive. It's one of the most expensive parts of the computer.
Yeah.
So don't fuck up.
Yeah, I want to get me a new graphics card and throw that on there.
You have a Zeus?
A Zeus? Oh, Asus.
Oh, yeah, what do you
Yeah.
have?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I thought you said Zeus. Like you have a Zeus, like the Greek
Asus.
god. Asus. Yeah. Sorry.
That's how you say it, right?
Is it? I don't know. Is it Asus? Have I been saying that wrong for years?
How did you say it?
Asus?
Asus sounds more accurate.
Have I been messing this up?
You've heard someone on YouTube say it.
I don't know. No, I don't
Sure.
watch videos on Asus stuff.
Asus.
How do you
I
say
think
it?
it's Asus.
I don't know.
They should change it to
I do like
Asus.
Asus though. It's a good brand. Most computers that you get like pre-built, even the ones that you have at work that we have at work, I guarantee you all the components on the inside is a majority of is Asus.
Yeah.
They make a lot of hardware, and I trust them.
I try to stay with GeForce because I know
You like Nvidia?
Yeah, I know they're better,
They're better.
but for cost,
They're expensive. I feel like AMD, you get a solid product, and it's like 60% of the price.
I think that's what I'm starting to realize. So
It's just like there's not. I guarantee you, unless you're like a professional gamer and you're making money, there's no need. There's no need to buy that. It's like why do you need to go buy a Ferrari when you can? You know what I mean?
oh yeah, we have I have a Lenovo laptop. It has so everything's built in. It has like
I guarantee you, 80% of those parts are Asus.
well, not the gaming card, but it's like prepackaged by Lenovo, so it was cheaper because they just throw a bunch of these together. It's not like a special build. But eventually, I want to get a setup like this, where you're like an office setup where you can do work stuff, then you play stuff all in one place.
I feel like it's really become my sanctuary. My wife has let me have it for now, but I know she's coming for it.
She wants, she wants a she shed in here.
She shed. That was a funny commercial. The way they kept
That
saying
was a good
she shed.
one.
They kept
Yeah.
saying she shed. I'm like, what is going on? At first, I didn't realize what they were saying. I was
Yeah.
like, what is a she shed? She shed.
So, did you watch the Super Bowl?
I did not. I don't watch football, brother. I don't care for any sports other than
I think that's
Wrestling.
great. I've been there the last 3 or 4 years. We kind of got into it.
Super Bowl. You've been watching it the past couple years?
No, I have not watched any
Gotcha.
since Peyton Manning and Tom
It's like-
Brady got old.
10 years ago? They were old 10 years ago.
Yeah, they've
And
been
they probably
old.
only, I mean, Peyton's been retired for a lot longer than Brady, but
Yeah.
I don't really follow it. He retired and then came back, and now he's like retired again.
Yeah, and
You
then
teach me,
He
I
might
don't
come
know.
back next year. No, the memes around that were hilarious. They had like an old Tom Brady. It was like, let's go to the Super Bowl, guys.
It's, why are we throwing out retirement? Stop saying that. Like, what are you trying to do? It's like publicity. It's all they want. They're just trying to stay relevant. And I just can't stand celebrity lifestyle. I just cannot stand it.
And that's what I realized watching the Super Bowl. I was like, it was packed full of celebrities. Like, this is not.
Yeah, it's
What
like a
I
red
wanna
carpet
watch.
event.
And I was like, this is kind of depressing because you're not supposed to compare your life to others, but it's easy when it's kind of thrown in your face.
Absolutely. Part of that's why I don't get on social media that much.
I was like, I don't have $500 million. It's kind of depressing.
I don't understand why not. You went to a private school.
Maybe one day.
But yeah, so you watched the Super Bowl. What's up? What happened?
Oh, what were we talking about before that? Commercials. Oh, the commercials were. I enjoyed watching the game, but I probably enjoyed the commercials more.
And I think that's why I watch it. I used to be really big into football. I used to play fantasy football. I used to be really big into the analytics, and I just stopped watching it. And the thing is, a lot of that was a lot of sports too, like baseball, basketball.
Oh, I stopped. Yeah, same.
It's, yeah.
I
don't
reached
know.
an age where
I feel like I just don't have time to watch it. You know what I mean? There's too much to keep up with. Like if you're watching football, you have all these teams, and granted, it's only on like 3 times a week, but you know, when it's on for 6 hours.
are we too busy for sports?
I think I've come to a point in my life where I realize time is very, very precious, and I very strategically pick and choose what I spend my time doing. And I don't have interest enough in organized team sports for me to watch it. And I think they're fake.
Like WWE?
Yeah. But at least WWE knows they're fake.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a
Like
lot
I feel
of.
like a lot of sports today is managed by refs, and they call
It's-
calls to manipulate the games. I think it's all
Why
fake.
wouldn't you when who's playing in the big games changes ratings in
Yeah,
big way?
I think it's all fake.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that LeBron James gets, bumped by a guy half his size and he flops on the ground like a fish out of water. Like that's fake.
He's a big dude.
I understand why he's doing it, so he can get the foul called, or otherwise he won't call it if you don't like show that you were hit. But like that's the point. Like I feel like the games are never played anymore. Like it's always like
they should be.
Yeah,
like they used to be.
There's a lot of interruptions. I don't trust the system. I think it's all big. I don't know if I 100% really believe that, but I think to some degree, I just think it's fake.
You see these videos of the refs like just taking out a player.
Dude, I would eject a player every game. They're like, oh, we got Alexander Smith here as a referee. You can almost guarantee a player's going to get ejected. I'd always be looking at the camera, looking for the little red light, knowing it's like.
That would bump ratings right there.
Absolutely.
They would come to see the ref instead of the players play.
Right. And it's about time the refs got some spotlight.
That would be good. Remember the NFL, the refs went on strike?
When was this?
Years ago. I feel like at least 10 years ago. Back when I paid attention to it more.
I don't remember.
It was funny.
So what happened?
They had to get college refs to coach to ref the NFL.
And was it not good?
I feel like for what they were doing, it was pretty good, but everything was under a microscope. So every little missed call was a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel grown up not caring about sports.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, I was like into sports big time. Astros, I used to know all the batting averages for the whole line.
Was this the Killer Bee area?
Yeah. Right? Are you in on that?
It used to be.
It used to be, yeah. Like the bees, man.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just can't get into it. I'm just not interested in it.
And getting back into it just to feel the emotional roller coaster. It's like I got enough emotional roller coaster in my daily life.
Yeah.
I don't want to go see you lose a playoff game and have a bad night after that.
Yeah. I don't know. You just got to pick and choose. Pick and choose what you spend your time doing.
Oh, time. Yeah, I would say time is up and coming as my biggest. It's like a resource now. It's like I got to manage that really closely because you have finite, like you say, you have a finite amount of it.
It's crazy, and it becomes more and more apparent the older we get.
And I feel like it's a balance right now with time and money.
Yeah,
and neither of them are as important as family, but you realize that you need both of them.
You do. You got to balance it out, which is why you got to figure out a way to make the most money with the little bit of time that we have, which is why you need to be going back to school.
I'm ready.
And just apply immediately to.
That's what. So you're going to do WGU?
You're talking about for master's though?
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to do psych.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
You're still undecided.
I don't know.
I'm still leaning that way. I feel like I need to shadow someone like
for
your
psych?
wife. Make sure I don't
easy
hate
to
it.
do that. You can easily set that up. I just don't know what I want to do. I like psych, but the only way I could do psych is if I did substance abuse. Yeah. Like for me, I want to do something that's more preventative. Like, how can we get you off of medications? Do you know what I mean? You see these studies out saying that like, SSRIs are not really that beneficial for, depressive disorders.
Make things worse.
Yeah, they can make things worse, like mentally and metabolically.
Every depression commercial has a risk of, you could kill yourself.
Yeah, you can kill yourself. Get ready. Next 3 weeks, you can kill yourself.
Kidding me?
Yeah. Not only that, but I'm saying like the metabolic changes that happen in your body, your libido, your mental state, like they don't really improve it.
Oh, big things of being a human.
Yeah. I feel like it mitigates a lot of things, but at what cost? And I don't feel like there's a lot of attention on what can we do to figure out if the depression you're having is endogenous or exogenous. Like, is endogenous mean like, is it a chemical imbalance in your head? And is it caused by something that's external from your body? Is it situational? Are you behaving differently to stress that you shouldn't be behaving that's contributing to the way that you feel mentally, spiritually, and physically? I feel like with substance abuse, there's a goal in mind, right? And the overall goal is not to have you taking a medication for the rest of your life. It's to it's a goal. I want to get you off like, booze or heroin or cocaine or any substance that is integrated into your life that's basically veered you into a direction that doesn't have you operating at your, optimum capacity, right? And so I think I'm drawn with that because ultimately, I don't want to feel like I'm just prescribing someone medication and not really addressing their issues. And the same thing for physical things, right? Whenever I was diagnosed with hypertension, the doctor that I was seeing was very quick to just give me a blood pressure medication. They didn't investigate like what I was doing, what I was eating, what my activity level was. There wasn't even an introduction to lifestyle changes, right? It was just give the medication. And I understand, and I don't think that's any bad thing to say about that doctor. I think the doctor has to see probably 40 plus patients a day. She doesn't have time to talk to me for 45 minutes about what changes I can make. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot to ask for somebody. So it's not their fault. But I think that's just a part of the system.
It's the healthcare system. Same thing is, I think it would be hard to like, hey, I'm going to help these depressed people or people with hypertension, both sides. I'm going to help these people with exercise and different plans. That goes against, I think, everything the American healthcare is into right now.
Yeah. There is the
pharmaceuticals. I
would say probably, I know the reason why I like emergency medicine so much, and the reason why, because I talk about like I feel guilty about just giving people medications and having them just take them for the rest of their life without wanting to at least try to make a change. For those that want to make a change but are not educated enough or have the time to educate themselves enough on how to do that, right? And the reason why I like emergency medicine is that I am providing a service to people who are coming in with a traumatic accident, right? It's not like I'm trying to get them on a subscription-based model for medications. You know what I mean? Like I'm legitimately trying to save their life, resuscitate them in a way to where they can perform to the best that they can when they get out, right?
Yeah.
And then you have, like, there's no incentive for me to get you on any medication. And even as a mid-level provider or even a physician, there's no incentive for those providers to prescribe medications. They're there to fix a problem and get you to where you need to go so you can manage that problem, right?
It's real black and white. It's like, this is the problem, we got to fix it. It's not like, let's get them on this drug, because that's what I was trained to do.
Right.
They're going to be taking this drug for the next 5 years, and it's going to help them with this symptom.
Right.
And not a real problem.
Right. And I think that...
just symptom treating. It's
right.
sad.
It's sad. And I'm not saying that there's not a time and place for medications. Like, you have chronic diseases that do need to be, medicated, like heart failure, stuff like that you need to take your medications. I just feel like my passion either resides with something like substance abuse to get people off of something, or have like a a cash model system where you're basically, because the insurance wants you to run tests, right? And the insurance only allows you to do certain things, and you can't really kind of go outside of what insurance companies want you to do, or at least what the like FDA wants you to do. Like, they all have like parameters that these providers are operating under, right?
Yeah. And that's scary in itself.
Yeah. And so I feel like the only way you got to play the game with the rules that are given to you, right? And I feel like if I wanted to do something that I want to do with that's like, preventative health, I would have to operate outside the umbrella, and I would ultimately have to build a business where it's a cash-based system. And that's not to say like I'm doing it for profit, but I just know that things that I want to do for my practice is not going to be approved by the FDA. And that's not to say I'm not doing anything safe. It's just that there's lab tests that you can do that the insurance companies will not pay for, that you can use that data to determine what kind of chronic diseases you're on your way to or already dealing with, and how we can change some of these profiles to see if we can get you off medications. And I think it was like, about a month ago, where Joe Rogan had that guy on, and I believe it was like Way to Wellness. And actually,
that's the one. I think I think a while ago you couldn't do it because you're like, man, we're going to be out here on our own without insurance companies, or we're going to go broke.
Right.
But your copay and what you pay for medical insurance is so high now that like you can do cash pay. You can cash pay and break out even compared to doing insurance that way, or be out ahead.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the last thing, because, And people look at like cash model systems and they think like, oh, it's for profit. But if you think about it this way, is that people, and I'm not saying all people, but I feel like if you're willing to pay out of pocket for something specific, you're paying out of pocket because that's something that you want to do. If that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm trying to think of an example.
The way I've learned to see it is you're cutting out middlemen, multiple middlemen.
Yeah.
Like you go with your money to a service you need and you get it with cash.
Yeah.
When you involve insurances,
you're kind of having to do what they want you to do.
Yeah, they guide the whole process and they are essentially a middleman.
It's yeah.
It's a hard system to beat though.
It is. And I think that's why a lot of these companies that are cash-based models are really struggling, right? Because I feel like people that are not educated and do their research on what the FDA's role is and what the pharmaceutical role is in the healthcare industrial complex, they don't, when they see that the big system is not approving your medical approach to management of health, that it's looked on badly, right? When that doesn't necessarily mean that. That just means that the FDA hasn't approved it. Do you know what I mean? Like, because the FDA has their own algorithm guidelines that they want you to behave and act.
Which are super loose to begin with.
Well, we won't talk about that. I mean, we can, but. So I think that whenever Rogan had that gentleman on talking about ways to well, like, I remember when I was listening to it, I was getting goosebumps. And I was like, dude, like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to work in a clinic where I'm able to deliver that service to a community that wants to do that for themselves. Because I understand there's people out there that they want to smash, pizza rolls and like Little Debbie snacks all day, and they're cool with taking insulin and blood pressure medications so they can live their life. And you know what? That's on them. I believe everyone should live the way that they want to live. But I also believe there's also people out there that want to make a permanent change, that desire a more healthy life, that really just don't know how to do that.
They can see that it's not good.
Yeah.
They see the problems.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of people that want to make changes, and that's actually a lot of why I like emergency medicine is discharge education. Like, it's my favorite part of the job is talking about discharge and like where to go. Because I feel like
it makes me feel good. I do like discharging and educating, because I think a lot of our clientele
everyone needs it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know any of this stuff. I didn't go to nursing school. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
I wouldn't have known any of this. And then it's like the providers are so busy seeing all their patients.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't have time to sit there and talk to them like that we do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of that burden falls on us, but it's a burden that I like carrying because it's part of the job that I like.
That is one of my favorite.
Navigating, having people navigate through the healthcare system.
I think a lot of nurses take it for granted that we have like a basic knowledge of medicine.
Yeah, and that they don't.
Yeah, when you're trying to explain something to someone like a patient that's being discharged, I feel like they are not even honest about not understanding what we are trying to explain. And a lot of people don't have questions.
I think they might just be embarrassed, like they don't want to ask the question because they're embarrassed that they don't know.
You have to make them feel comfortable with you to get them to tell you where they're at in their knowledge base, so you can explain, fill in the gaps.
And I feel like that's that personality trait or that social trait that a lot of nurses don't have. And something that you have, that whenever you're speaking to like, a psychiatric patient, like that's the defining characteristic that separates, to me, a good nurse versus like another nurse. Like that experience is going to stay with the patient more than, like, you could be, top flight nurse and have everything on board. But if you can't talk to somebody, like if you don't know how to communicate and let the people know like what's going on, it doesn't matter. They're not going to remember any of that. What they're going to remember is the person who is explaining everything that they were doing to them, explaining what these medications, you know what I mean? Like there's
the way they almost talk down to people.
Yeah. And that goes back to burnout, bro.
Yeah.
Goes back to burnout. Because I don't think that they're mean people. I think they're just tired of explaining the same thing 13 times a day. And that people just need to utilize primary care appropriately and not the ER's primary care.
But that goes back to education. If you're doing proper education, you're going to have less repeat customers in the ER.
Hey, but whatever keeps the lights on, right?
Hopefully not. Whatever takes the lights on.
Yeah, but that Ways to Well, I didn't realize that they have a Houston location and an Austin location. They're based out of Texas. So they work out of Austin and Houston. Because I looked it up. As soon as I heard the podcast, I was like, what is this?
I should have done that. I didn't. I was very interested in
I
what
wanna
he had
apply.
to say. I apply.
Like, as a mid-level?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
That market's got to be growing.
It has to be.
If you become a psych MP, I think there's plenty for you to do in that side of it.
Yeah. I think that's so those are like the two things that I look at. Like, what can I do to change people's lives in a manner where I don't have to have them come back? Because to me, I feel like that's what would define me as a provider, is what I could do to give back to the community so they don't have to come back. And I try to ask this question is like, if a person had a disease that debilitated them mentally or physically, and I had just a magic pill that could cure them and they would never have to come back, but I would lose clientele, I would give them the cure. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would not be able to sleep at night knowing that there was a way to get rid of it completely, and I'm just giving them medication so I'm benefiting financially.
I think a lot of us would. Nurses would. I think every nurse would. I think most doctors would.
Yeah.
But then if you go up further from that, you start hitting people that would like, ooh, no. I think
like the financial side?
Big ethical question. Yeah.
I feel like every healthcare provider should ask themselves that question, which I'm sure they do. But that's the thing, man.
We work under people that would never give that pill out.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I don't trust people. It's a healthcare as a business.
The business side is, yeah, it's hard to navigate what they're thinking. And I think at the end of the day, I think they want people to do well. But even this guy was talking about how, like this, because he worked in an orthopedic surgeon, like an orthopedic surgery outpatient clinic. And he was telling you that the orthopedic surgeons would just, knowing that the life of that hip or knee was only 5 years, as long as they had a good rating after a year, they didn't care. Knowing that they were going to come back and get that surgery 5 years later.
Yeah.
How do you sleep, dude? How do you sleep? Not saying that there's like a magic procedure that fixes it. Stem cells. But
They're seeing everything from a different angle, and it's unethical.
Yeah. I don't know. I say that now, but who knows what I say when I'm doing this and I don't have any money. I hope not.
It's sad. It's a business. I got into healthcare not knowing that, because I was young and naive.
Knowing what?
That healthcare is a business.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's crazy.
It's like we're here to help people. I usually listen to podcasts in the car, so I don't really care about if there's video or not.
Yeah.
So on the way home, I know I'm going to be listening to the Nerd Companion. Although not this one. I don't think I can listen to myself.
It is a little weird hearing yourself.
How do you do it?
Well, it's fine if I'm by myself.
Does you listen to yourself ramble? That's different.
You're saying just listening to myself ramble?
Yeah, if you're going to record a podcast, then you listen to it. That's not that bad, right?
It's not that bad if it's just me listening to it.
But if it's a conversation you're having with someone, is it worse?
No. It's only... So when I say it's worse, I mean, I don't like it when someone's listening to it and someone else is listening with me.
Oh, yeah.
Like when someone's hearing your voice at the same time you're hearing your voice. Like by myself, it's fine, but it's super weird.
It's hilarious. I have to record videos for school, and I've gotten where I just put them out there. I don't redo them or nothing. Just record, post it.
First draft. That's it.
Yes.
First draft is perfect.
I don't want to watch it. So
it definitely seems more organic.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So when the semester started, I did one, and my wife walked in the kitchen. I was like, "Hey, listen to this." And she couldn't do it. She's like, "I gotta leave." It was awkward for me, but it was awkward for her because it's just super awkward. I don't know why. It's a recording.
I think it's vulnerable.
Very vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, you're
hearing yourself.
Yeah.
Your tones.
Yeah. I don't think you hear it when you're speaking in the moment, but when you're analyzing the conversation, what you sound like, what you're talking about, the context, you're thinking, well, it's kind of weird. So it makes me wonder what people think when I'm talking to somebody and they're like the fly on the wall listening, like, well, that was a weird conversation. But I know I have weird conversations all day.
As long as they're not involved. I think, because you sound fine. I could listen to you and Casey talk all day. But when there's my voice in there and I'm like it's like, did I just say that? Is that how I sound? It's like you get in your head.
Yep.
It's a big vulnerability.
Now I'm hearing you speak right now. This is the way you sound. So if you listen to this a week from now,
I won't be listening to it. I can't.
That's how you sound.
I don't have the metal to bolster past that much awkwardness.
Of course you do. Of course you do.